Hello friends! Welcome to Story Time with Michele. I'm Michele and I have a lovely story to share with you today. This one is called Mr. Yes. And this was written by Carmen Gil and illustrated by Miguel Cerro and published by Cuento de Luz. That's Mr. Yes there on the cover carrying the humongous yes. Mr. Yes, guess what his favorite word is? Yes. He's very good at a lot of things, but there's something he can't quite do very well. Can you guess what it might be? Let's read the story and find out. Read along with me, okay? Here we go. Mr. Yes, written by Carmen Gil and illustrated by Miguel Cerro and published by Cuento de Luz. Mr. Yes knew how to do lots of things. He knew how to make paper elephants that could wave their trunks. He knew how to do the trick where you push needles through balloons without making them pop. He beat everyone playing checkers. He could throw stones and make them skip 20 times over the water. He could say the trickiest tongue twisters ever. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, he would say to all his friends. But the one thing Mr. Yes had never learned was to say no. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. One day, Mr. Yes was offered an ice cream made of hummingbird poop and slug slime. "Try it, it'll tickle your tongue," they said. "Well, I don't know," said Mr. Yes. And even though it looked horrible, he couldn't say no, and he ate the whole bowl. As you can imagine, he had a tummy ache for 3 whole days. Yuck. Mr. Yes crossed his arms and looked at himself in his bathroom mirror. He spoke to his reflection angrily. "Why didn't you say no?" he asked. "I don't like you one little bit." One afternoon, a salesman rang his bell. He had a huge suitcase full of strange objects. There was a tennis racket without any strings, an owner's license for a cloud of steam, and a 10-pound can of invisible paint. "My products are the very best and the cheapest you'll ever find. Buy them and you won't regret it." "Well, I don't know," said Mr. Yes. Even though Mr. Yes didn't need any of the things the salesman had in his suitcase, he couldn't say no. Before he realized, he had already paid for an umbrella full of holes for sunny days, a broken telephone you could only use to talk to yourself, and a box full of silence to use on noisy days. Once he was alone, Mr. Yes went off to find the man in his bathroom mirror. "Why didn't you say no?" he asked angrily. "I don't like you at all." Another time, the grocer's son stopped Mr. Yes in the street. "Come with me and we'll have some fun," he said. "We're going to hide a rubber snake in the cauliflower at the supermarket, or maybe we'll swap the sugar for salt in the coffee bar on the corner." "Well, I don't know." Mr. Yes didn't like those kinds of naughty tricks, but he couldn't say no, and soon he found himself joining in. As soon as he got home, he ran upstairs and yelled at the face in his bathroom mirror. "Why didn't you say no?" shouted Mr. Yes, who by now was incredibly angry. "I can't stand you." Then one sunny morning, Noah asked Mr. Yes to do some of his work, just like he had done many times before. "Well, I don't know," muttered Mr. Yes. He was convinced that Noah was taking advantage of him, but as he didn't know how to say no, he had always accepted. But just as he was about to reply, a fly buzzed into his open mouth and got stuck in his throat. All that came out was the first half of Noah's name. No. "Well, okay then," said Noah, "if you don't want to." And he walked off before Mr. Yes could get his voice back. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck? Mr. Yes started to feel as if thousands of brightly colored bubbles were bursting in his heart. A huge grin spread across his face, and he felt like he was walking on air. All the way home, he said his favorite tongue twister. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As soon as he got home, he ran upstairs to see the man who lived inside his bathroom mirror. But now he looked so handsome, so elegant, so friendly, and so charming. "See how it wasn't so difficult?" whispered Mr. Yes. "You're the greatest." And he tried to give him a kiss on the tip of his nose. Mr. Yes knows how to do lots of things. He's an expert at building really high skyscrapers made out of soda cans. He's learned the trick where you pour water into a rolled-up newspaper and it turns into confetti. He's the city's tiddlywinks champion. He can throw paper balls into the trash can from the other side of the room, and he can still say tongue twisters faster than anyone else. She sells seashells on the seashore. And another thing, Mr. Yes knows how to say no. He's realized that it comes in really handy. Now he doesn't have to eat ice cream made out of hummingbird poop, or buy umbrellas full of holes, or put rubber snakes in the cauliflower at the supermarket, or do his colleague's job for him. And if he does answer yes, everyone's sure that he really means it. Like Charlotte, when she asked him, "Would you like to come to my birthday party?" "Yes," he replied in a clear voice and with a great big grin on his face. So does your friend, the one who lives in your bathroom mirror, know how to say no? Well, if they don't, it's time you taught them. It's very easy. All you've got to do is wrinkle up your nose and purse your lips, just like you're going to give someone a kiss. The end. Well, that was a great book, and I'm so glad Mr. Yes learned how to say no. It's very important to communicate our feelings, isn't it? And I know sometimes we get stuck doing things that we really don't want to do, and we kind of wish we had said no, but we said yes. And so I really appreciated that in this story. It kind of helps us all learn the lesson alongside Mr. Yes, doesn't it? Well, I'd love to hear what you thought about the book, so visit me over on Story Time with Michele Book Club, and you can leave me your feedback, your thoughts. How do you feel? Have you ever been in a situation like Mr. Yes, where he was stuck doing things he really didn't want to do? I'd love to hear from you. And if you like the video, please click on the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, happy reading!